Howdy, Banger Pals. Blaine Smith welcoming you to another Metal Monthly, Bangers Monthly look at what's coming out in metal releases. It is 2026. The show is still going. It's been like six years of this now. That's a lot of records I've suggested to you, and I'm just going to keep doing it because, yes, this is the show where I bring you the 5 best underground metal albums every single month. I also give you a list to keep up with some of the, bigger releases, some of the things you might want to keep an eye out for, some things we might review. Also, go Bills, yay. And let's just get on with the video. So this one's going to be short because most bands have the good sense to not release an album in January. January 2nd, which is now in the past, Wild Hunt, a thrash band, released The Great Aletheia. It's an awesome record on Jawbreaker Records. It's already out, so I didn't include it in the list, but it will be in my tip sheet. As a reminder, we do toss tip sheets up on Patreon, so you kind of get like a bonus episode of Metal Monthly if you're subscribed over there. January 9th, you've got Nanowar of Steel releasing the Genghis Khan EP to end all Genghis Khan EPs on Napalm. Yes, that's how thin this month is. January 16th, Creator is releasing Crushers of the World on Nuclear Blast. That's a surprise. Of Sulfur is releasing Endless on Century Media. So bands are starting to release stuff. January 23rd, you've got Old Punks The Damned releasing a new album, Not Like Everybody Else, on Ear Music. And speaking of being old, Dave is old, and Megadeth is releasing the self-titled Megadeth at this point in their career. Strange decision on Tradecraft. And again, speaking of old punk, January 30th, Buzzcocks, Attitude Adjustment on Cherry Red. Old guys want to get their records out in January, and then I guess just chill for the rest of the year. And then you've got Raven Fire, Square One on High Roller Records. That's the second to list of big. Don't worry. So let's just go underground. Let's just go underground with this. Up first, I was just in Japan, and I brought back a little bit of Japan with me by our first record being Invictus, Nocturnal Visions. It's a Misaku Nojo / Memento Mori release coming out January 26th. These guys are a Japanese, yes, death metal band, and we have an all-time great Juano Castellano cover. The contrast between the color of the album and the logo is just fantastic. So way back in January 2020, speaking of how long we've been doing Metal Monthly, holy hell, I featured their last album, and I'm happy they're putting out a new one, even if it took a while, and I'm happy it's not on a Japanese label, so we can actually hear it on the internet instead of needing to purchase a CD from a Japanese Tower Records after hearing a album teaser which consists of 12 seconds of every single song instead of just I love many things about Japan. How they release records is not one of them. While I certainly can be tempted by the artier side of death metal, this is not that. More of an old school getting punched in the face vibe to Invictus, which an arty kid would be all, ow, you punched me in the face about. It's hard and it's heavy, and while they certainly put their own spin on it, it's ripped straight out of the early days of Death, Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, etc. You know what death metal is. I don't need to explain to you early death metal bands. You're not a child. The Japanese side of things sneak in that everyone is a master at their instrument. These guys could make a tech death band. Thankfully, they have that iron weight of old school dragging them down to the bottom of the ocean where we prefer our death metal boys. Up next, what is this? Some kind of Nile member lookalike contest? It's Karloff. Okay. Revered by Death, Dying Victims Productions, January 23rd. It's a Karloff. Carl's fight. are some German old school black metal punks. This is the second great cover this month by Lena Richter, who's been around for a while but is really emerging as one of the best go-tos in metal album covers lately. Love it, love it, love it. This is a black metal record, but it is much more of a first wave Venomy vibe than some lone weirdo singing songs about the lake to the lake in a forest in northern Europe. It's got a fun dose of punk injected in there, but the surprise comes in the band's willingness to mix up the tempos. You kind of expect a band like this to stick in that, I don't know, methamphetamine-y zone. But I guess somebody's baggies got mixed up because Karloff slow it down towards the halfway point of the record, invoking a little bit more of like a modern Dark Throne sound, and in the middle, they full on get the nods and give us a pretty cool ambient atmospheric trap before snapping out of it and delivering some high energy Venom again. It's a nice little unexpected change up that would help the band stand out from the rest of the pack in a normal month, but it's not a normal month, it's January, so they just did a bunch of unnecessary work, but we thank them for it. Moving on, we're getting spookier. It's Ligation After God's Personal Records, January 23rd. These guys are a finished death doom act with a touch of noise music, and yes, it is a weird one. Obviously, introducing noise into any other genre is going to turn into a bit of a curveball. What we get is a scary death doom record with an organic industrial feel, and organic industrial might seem like a bit of an oxymoron, but what I mean by that is the music sounds industrial in like nature, not genre. It's not the forced latex goth industrial stuff that ruins that kind of vibe, you know? It's the, hey, is this Ford plant actually possessed by a demon? You know, it's not like a Matrix rave is my point. They're doing sort of what Blue Dust Nord did with black metal for a death doom record. And the record also includes the band's first 3 songs that appeared on 2 splits as bonus tracks, so would you look at that? They're scary, but they're generous. Isn't that nice? Now, gee gosh, gee golly gee whiz, a double dose of Dying Victims before even getting to the palate cleanser. It's Barbarian, Reek of God, coming out January 23rd on, yeah, I said, you know, yeah. These guys are Italian black and thrash. We've got a great vintage fantasy art feel to the cover by Claudio Elias Scialabab. Barbarian have been the Italian band of this style for well over a decade. It feels like every country gets assigned like one band to rule over this style of music and just constantly release great records. Despite being 16 years deep into Barbarian at this point, the band is still mixing things up and delivering surprises you wouldn't expect, from the opening warning riff on the infamous Ice-T intro to 1993's Home Invasion to an L7 cover track. Barbarian aren't just content being Italy's great blackened, speedy thrash act. They're on a Terrence Crawford tip, making sure they continue to put a stamp on their legacy with each release. But at the end of the day, Who cares about any of that highfalutin stuff? We just need to know, does it sound good? Of course it sounds good. It's Barbarian. They've never released a bad record. The American King's Midnight bring sleaze. The Norwegian King's Deathhammer bring unhinged insanity. But the Italian Kings bring menacing evil. Barbarian hates religion and wants to let you know about it, which makes sense. As a Canadian, I don't really deal with Christianity that much. I don't even really think about it. Italians, I'm guessing it comes up a bit more. Out of all the bands like this, you're getting the most aggression, the most violence, the most orc decapitating crusader vibes with Barbarian. Happy to add another Barbarian album to the collection. I'll see you guys in 3 years. Barbarian, I'll see you in 3 years, not you. I'll see you right now for the palate cleanse, because Barbarian releases a record every 3 years. I guess it's been 3 years. It's time for the palate cleanse of the months. It's Fili Bibiano's Fortress, Death is Your Master on High Roller Records, coming out January 30th.
Fading away as the night closes in. Let it out of your soul. Break out of control. I've been lost before, but never have I lost my home. To the night city, escape your life and join the night.
This is a Californian heavy metal band, classic spooky castle metal album cover by Marcos Illustrates. Another blast from the Metal Monthly past, this one way back in November 2021. Since then, we've got a new leaner lineup, down from 4 to 3. They don't even have a bass player anymore. And also, they seem to be called Fili Bibiano's Fortress now. This is likely because there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 19 fortresses on Metal Archives. Normally, I hate the one guy's possessive band names, but because it's the word fortress, it just sounds like Philly bought a castle, and that's kind of cute. Fili Bibiano, welcome to Fili Bibiano's Fortress. The restrooms are over there, and the record sounds like a record that would be from someone named Fili Bibiano. In that, I mean, it sounds pretty damn European for a band from California. It's got that big majesty that you come to expect from the Europes of the world more than the Americans, partially because of Philly's virtuo-ass guitar style. There's a touch of LA sleaze to things, but this is definitely more for fans of albums with spooky castles on the cover than like a bud. But the biggest change was the entire band changed, so how did that affect the sound? Thankfully, the shakeup on vocals with Juan Aguila replacing Chris Nunez works wonders and shifts the band's tone a little bit to the darker side. It's a little more of a, there's a little more gloom and it's metal, so things being gloomy is good, not bad. And just so we know there's no hard feelings, Chris even pops in to do guest vocals on a track, which is very wholesome. I guess he didn't kick the whole band out because he's a prima donna or something. Stuff just changed. People change. It's 2026. What? Speaking of change, what's your New Year's resolution? You got any plans? I'd love it if your plan was to come to twitch.tv/metalcomedy every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where I research this album. This whole show.